wanted to tell you the story about how I met Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee.
Yes, I want to know.
We were doing Karate Kid 3, and Sean Kanan had something happen where there was like a little tiny hole that perforated his stomach, and he was like bleeding internally. And I guess it was like Christmas Eve or something like that, and he was in Las Vegas and he collapsed. And they were like, dude, you know, we need to do surgery on you. And he's like, oh my God, you know, he was right in the midst of, you know, this was his big chance, you know what I mean? And he got the visit and the call from the higher ups, and they said, so, hey, sorry, kid, you know, you think you're going to be okay in the next few days? Because, you know, otherwise we got to replace you. Dang. You know, I mean, it's like, welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of the people that they called in to possibly replace him was Brandon Lee.
Wow.
You know, and he arrived on set. We were at the mansion, Terry Silver's mansion in Karate Kid 3, the actual mansion that they filmed at. They recreated some of that later on, you know, on the lot. I remember Brandon showing up, and he auditioned for the part of Mike Barnes. He was possibly to replace him, and he really wanted the part.
Yeah.
He was cool to me. He was like, hey, man, what's going on? I'm like, hey. And I didn't want to say I really admire your father because, you know, everybody has
Probably
said that to him in his life.
all the time, yeah.
But I was like, oh, you know, really nice to meet you. And I watched his audition. And I was like, oh, he's a pretty good actor, you know?
Yeah.
So he was doing that scene where he was like saying, you know, LaRusso, I want, you know, I want your title.
Yeah.
I got a chance to kind of watch it on the side, and the stunt coordinator at the time was Pat Johnson. He was talking to me a little bit, and he goes, oh, I got to stop smoking, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I might want to work on the cardio, right? But he also was kind of concerned. He goes, yeah, you know, I felt I did a good reading, but I don't know. I don't think Pat Johnson was happy with my martial arts. You know, he was kind of concerned about that. So after he left, I heard Pat Johnson speaking, and he goes, yeah, I was kind of disappointed a little bit in Brandon's martial arts. And I was like, going,
really?
You were? Because, I don't know, it looked pretty good to me. You know what I mean? Like,
and you're a martial artist, too. So
he's not Bruce, you know what I mean? But, you know, he's
nobody's Bruce Lee.
You know what I mean? But ultimately, I don't think they had to make that decision because Sean was able to recover and he was able to finish the film. So, you know, at the end of the day, Sean Kanan, you know, was a great choice for Mike Barnes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that they would have, you know, Brandon was great, but, you know, he was destined for other things.
Yeah.
I mean, just like nobody could have done The Crow. Sean is kind of the perfect Mike Barnes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.